Hi, Dory here again in Dory's Gardens, where inspiration awaits beyond the lavender gate. And I get so many people coming in and saying, oh, I have a shade, I can't grow anything. Well, I learned to garden in a shade area, so I have discovered tons of things that work in the shade, add pops of color and interest. So I'm going to go through a few of my finds. And it was amazing this morning. I was walking through the garden, it's like, oh, this works in the shade, and this works in the shade. So we're going to look at a huge variety. I'm going to go through quickly, and then we will just see where we end up. But this one was the last one I had left today, so I wanted to start off with this. It's called a Pink Splash, and it's just amazing. It does have a lavender bloom at the end of the season, but look at that color. And you put it here deep in the shade, and it just pops. So I kind of arranged these in color coordination, and these are kind of the grays and the whites. So when you have a light color in the shade, of course that's going to show up better. And this Silver Falls is one of my favorites, and in a pot or a hanging basket from a tree, that is stunning. And then there's this ivy. Oh, here we go. Caldiums, classic. They're just popping out now, but those are excellent in the garden, and they come in the whites and pinks and reds, and I'll show you the other colors later. But these are amazing, and you can harvest the bulbs and plant them next year. Whoops, dork move. Anyways, sorry.
Want to stop?
No, it's okay. Oh, my plants so bad sometimes, but they always come back for me. Anyways, here's sorry. We better stop.
Yeah.
Hi, back again. I'm sorry about the giggles, but it was just too funny. So anyways, I'm going to continue on, see if I can get through this. This white euphorbia is another wonderful plant for the shade. And it takes the sun too, but it really does show up well in the shade. And so you want to use this behind something like this wonderful Persian shield. Look at that, it looks metallic. But if you have this in the back of your garden, you're not going to see it. So put it up close where you can see what's going on with it, and put something white behind it, and that's a great look. And also, when you're planting a garden in the shade, it's wonderful to use white plants along the edge of it. It almost is like night lights. And so these begonia here, they work really well for that. And they do come in pink and red, but for the shade, I really love the white. And you've got that lime green going on. So speaking of lime green, we're gonna move on into that zone. These are kind of the grays and the silveries. And then we go into the limes. And here's another begonia. This angel wing, I'm sorry, I always get that mixed up. It's a dragon wing begonia, and it has that lovely bloom, and the leaf is what makes it show up. So this likes the shade, and it comes in the pink and in the red. A real subtle difference, but it is different. And then we've got the impatiens. And so they have had a hard time the last couple of years. There's been this fungus that's been eating on them, and they just kind of die off. So a lot of nursery centers have not carried them, but they're coming back. They have a new variety. So you can find them in Dory's Gardens, and they've always been the reliable color for the shade. So it comes in several different colors: whites, pinks, reds, peaches. Let's see, here's the peach color, which I love the peach color. See how that just shows that? The vibrant does too, but I really like the light. So you can mix this with caladiums. They come in all different colors, like that one I dropped on its head, but it will survive. See how pretty that is together? And again, if you want to do a hanging basket, that's a great combination. So put that in your tree, add a little interest up high, and then you put some interest down low. And speaking of down low, I use this as a ground cover. Put it down there, let it spread out. It takes care of the weeds pretty good, and it tends to come back. So different variations in the leaves, that's going to add interest in the shade. This is kind of an in-betweener. This is a sun patient, kind of a cross between a New Guinea impatient and, I don't know, regular impatient. So it does take more light, but in the hot afternoon, not so good. It's a very thirsty plant, but if you have it in the right spot, it's so amazing. Gets quite large, and it's just a beautiful tropical color. So that's a good choice. And it comes in just the green leaf ones too. So we've got a coleus here. Coleus used to be only shade plants when I started gardening. Now they have some varieties that take the sun. This will take the sun, and in the sun it turns a little bit pinker, But if you don't want to use it in the sun, you can still use it in the shade. And this tends to trail. It's called wedding bells or something like that. So that's a good one. So then we move along to here. Let's see what we have. The Helleborum. This is an awesome plant. This is a lentenrose, is another name for it. I think I've talked about this before. And it just has a real subtle bloom. And I'm going to bring this up so you can kind of see what that looks like. And that's a beautiful thing. Perennial, will spread out and make a lot more in your garden. Speaking of coleus, before I move on, I really love this one with the lime green border on the leaf. Seems like it has more of a radial growth habit. So I'm excited to see what that's going to do in the garden this year. So here we go. Hostas again are amazing. This is 2 year, and you can see how big it is. See, we love that rain. And in Washington State, I have seen them humongous. But here, I think after a few years, they will keep spreading and getting bigger and bigger. We can go with something like this. It gives a real tropical look. And this tends to die back, but mine is coming back that I put in the ground. And so that is lovely. And see, you've got these different textures, the broadleaf here, and then the variegated leaf and different greens, and how that adds interest. So I love that. And this little clown-faced Torrenia, that's another way to add color. And so that's really cool. And there's a fun little thing in here. There's a little wishbone thing. You probably can't see it on there, but you kind of play with it like that. So that's really fun. And let's see what else. We've got the classic holly fern that will turn into a shrub. More hosta lamb's ear. It works in the sun and in the shade. I've seen it work well. Main thing, keep it drained or it'll rot on you. Dead nettle is wonderful. I don't know if you can see that, how it just pops. And here's another plant, the Spatzia, which is a foundation plant, and that will get huge. It's a great backdrop for your shade garden. Really fills in the gaps. Gives that kind of tropical look. Love the tropicals. So let's move right along here. Elephant ear, another tropical look, but it will die down, but you don't have to dig that up like you do the caladiums. And these are going to get huge. So hopefully one day I'll have a tutorial and show how you make an imprint in concrete. And you've got this concrete leaf in your garden. You can plant sedums or just have it for interest or make a fountain out of it. So we'll do that someday. So we're just moving along here, looking at the different examples of the caladiums, the pink and the red. Here is the angel wing begonia. And what's so wonderful about this is the spot in the leaf, and just the shape is gorgeous. So people are always looking for these, but bring these inside in the wintertime so you can keep them for next year, and they'll come back. And again, we've got this very leaf here, and then the spots on this cast iron, that really makes it show up, and it's more narrow than the regular cast iron. And we go along here, and then there's the zone too, where it's morning sun and then afternoon shade. And so there's several plants that work well for that. So we've got the Gerber daisies, the salvia, and the stokesia is a great plant too. So all of these take a little bit of morning sun, and they're perennials and will come back and look lovely. Hi, welcome.
Hello,
Come
how
on
are you?
in. Good.
Are we Dory?
Yes, I'll be finished in just a moment. Okay, have a look around. And so let's see. I think we've covered just about everything. These agapanthus are wonderful. They come in white, blue. I don't think they come in a pink. But another name is lily of the Nile. And I first saw these in Marina Del Rey in a massive planting. I was so amazed and in love because it was a blue flower. So when I saw them in the garden centers here, I snatched them up. And so those are wonderful in the shade too. And they come back every year. So that's what we like. So Michelle, let's see if you want to just pan through here, have a look at how lovely you can have your shade garden come together and just enjoy it. So don't be discouraged if you just have shade, because there's lots that you can do. So I hope that you learned a little bit and that you will come visit me again next week, and who knows what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure it'll be fun.